Alright, hello everybody. This is Tad here. I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight, a bit of a departure from the stupid videos I've been known to do. I'm going to start up this new series just for the fuck of it. This is going to be called Tad's Talks, or Tad Talks, not Tad's Talks, because that really sounds stupid. So maybe it fits. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'll let you decide. Should it be Tad Talks or Tad's Talks? Who the fuck gives a damn? Only like 12 people are going to see this. But anyway, this is going to be a series where I just talk about things and stuff and nature and the spirits and all that bullshit. But yeah, you can tell I've had a few beers tonight. Plastic 40s for the win. But anyway, tonight for the first episode, it's only fitting that I go with GameTZ as my first episode of this, where I talk about stuff. For anybody that does not know what GameTZ is, it is the game trading zone. It is a website, and it's at www.gametz.com, www.billisgod.com// Actually, Bill kind of looks like Jesus in some older pictures of his. Man, I gotta quit talking about Bill. Alright, I'm sorry, I was gonna be serious with this, but now you're getting a rambling drunk asshole. Deal with it. But anyway, GameTZ is a community of traders, and there's been this little debate here a few weeks back about 99 gamers and all this stuff. I'm not going to get into a bunch of 99 gamers, but let me say that digital currency that you pay for to trade for games is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. That's all I'm going to say about that. But GameTZ, you know, sometimes, yes, we have a very odd and very crude user group. We're a bunch of guys who like to talk shit, but when you're trading with us, dealing with us, you know, we're good guys. I have been a member of GameTZ since, which is funny, is I believe it was October 18th, which is actually my mom's birthday. So I didn't realize that until a few years later, because I'm horrible with dates. But somehow I know when my GameTZ anniversary is, so I don't know. But anyway, it was in the year 2000. And back then, GameTZ, I think GameTZ started in what, like 96 maybe? It started as a Usenet group, and I think the owner sold it to Bill, and Bill, for some fucked up reason, likes the stupid shit we do on his website. And let me just get off track for 1 second. If you're going to let Bob be one of the most well-known users on the website, Bill has some serious balls that Bob would like to lick. I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked again. This is going to be like a 30-minute video. But anyway, it started out in like 96, I think, and was a Usenet group. And then Bill kind of molded it a little bit, did whatever thing. I don't know, I wasn't around back then. I came back in 2000, and I was pretty hooked right away. I had been buying a lot of games on eBay, and I was like, man, what if I could just trade the games I already got for games I don't have? So I went to Google and I searched game trading post. And the top one was GameTZ. I was like, alright, I'll check it out. So I looked around for a few minutes and made an account, and I think it was only like 3 hours later I offered a guy a trade and he got back to me. Now keep in mind, this was like what? I'll have been at GameTZ for 15 years in October. And the early days, like from 2000 to like, oh, when was it that it went sub only? When it went subscriber only, I think it might have been like 04 or 05, but we lost a lot of users back then, and it sucked. But I always stuck with it because that place is like the Hotel California. That's what GameTZ is. Once you check in, you never fucking leave. Unless you trade with like Wavy Boy Killer, or oh, you want to go old school BTR? Steve McFadden. The old school guys right now, like Boss right now is like, I remember that motherfucker. Admiral's like, oh yeah, I know that motherfucker. Fucking Steve McFadden was the original BTR. This motherfucker went hardcore. This guy made like 3 different accounts and got like 20 BTRs on all 3 of them. This guy was just a ruthless fucking game stealer, probably date rapist guy. And Steve McFadden, if you're watching, shame on you, you dirty monkey some bitch. You are a rotten fucking bastard. Do you realize how many people quit the site because of your bullshit? Oh, Jesus fucking H. Shit, you are a piece of fucking monkey crap. And I hate you. Just so you know. Alright, but anyway, on a brighter note. About 2000, I started making a few trades. I did a lot of really shitty trades in the beginning too. Like my very first one, I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. It was my first trade, and we never pinned it. We never set up a pinning trade. And well, keep in mind, back then the offer system did not exist yet. And so we did kind of on-site, non-official trade, and I didn't realize what I was doing. I traded a sealed, legit sealed, with a Walmart sticker on it, Mega Man 6 for NES, for a cart-only Streets of Rage 3 that was literally held together by tape and still rattled. It was horrible. And I actually ran into the guy about a year later when I had actually established myself as an up-and-coming trader. I ran into him, man. I was such a dick that night. I was straight up pissed off that he allowed me to do that. And then again I realized, oh, I would have probably done the same fucking thing. I honestly probably would have. There's one time back when MP3 players were first a thing, I traded a Nintendo 64 lot to, I don't know, he wasn't completely new. I think he had a bronze star at least. But I fucking traded him that N64 lot for a Rio MP3 player, 128 megabyte. And back then, these things were like over $100. And the 64 lot I gave was probably, I don't know, 60, 70 maybe. Because I think it had some decent games with it. I don't completely remember, but I traded that to that guy, and that MP3 player was the best thing I had at the time. I fucking loved it. And this fucking thing would only hold like 8 or 9 songs. Not even a whole album's worth. But this thing was so great for me because I've driven some, but I'm not a driving fan. I like to walk or ride a bicycle everywhere I go, which I live in a small town, so that's easy. But anyway, this guy, like a week later, came in a chat and was like, hey man, any way I can take you in, talk you into trading back? I was like, sorry, no. And I kind of felt like a dick for it, but I loved that fucking MP3 player. Still to this day, that might have been one of the coolest ones I've had. Except for this one I just got off GameTZ from Shady Fozzie. That's a cool MP3 player, and I only paid $7. It's got a touchscreen. Not big on touchscreens. Look at these. I have big old sausage fingers, so I don't really get the click right on the shit. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, GameTZ, when I first started, I didn't know what I got myself into, but I quickly became addicted. I want to say this was around somewhere between 2002 and 2004. I became an insomniac. I would stay up for 48 hours and then go to bed and sleep for about 15 hours and rinse and repeat, do the whole fucking thing over again. I was always on GameTZ, every time. I was always in chat, everything. And I used to complain a lot that nobody would trade with me. At the same time, I would already have 30 pendings. I was like really addicted back then. It was crazy. Like I actually, this might not be a fair comparison because I don't know her stats. Given from her like the past year or two, she definitely has me beat as far as steadiness goes, but most of the 2000 trades I got were from 2002, 2004 probably. And I don't know what it was. It was this new cool thing. You know, I had a pretty bland routine. I had just gotten out of high school, went to work at McDonald's, and I would come home and fuck around on Heat.net back in those days before the Dreamcast launched. And actually from Heat.net, I got the premium membership or whatever and started earning degrees. On a Dreamcast at launch, me and my brother racked up enough points to get a brand new at launch Dreamcast, all the launch games, 3 controllers, 3 VMUs, a keyboard, and the mouse, I think. I'm not sure if those came out yet. But and we also pre-ordered Shenmue. But that was awesome back then. But then Heat.net ended, and that's when I got into GameTZ. And it was cool. I'd never been a member of a community online before. Like GameTZ, you know, there was a community on Heat.net, but GameTZ was completely different. Everybody was trading games instead of playing them. And it was just really a cool concept, and I got to meeting people and getting to know people. And I don't know, it was just the perfect place for me, and it's never gotten old. It's crazy. If you want to talk about traders, let me talk about Sideswipe. I believe he was my 5th trade on this site, 14 fucking years ago. I've since traded with this guy about 50 times, and we've only pinned about 30 of them. Because we got into Steam and Dashura, and I have probably traded that guy $100 worth of Steam trading cards. And I've probably got, I don't know, I've gotten at least like 50, 75 Steam and Dashura games off that motherfucker. But it's crazy how that worked out. Like, I never knew when I made that first trade with Sideswipe that he would be such a good friend. Because we've talked to each other all throughout these 14 years. When I first met this motherfucker Sideswipe, before Ash came along. Ash is a whole other fucking chapter in the GameTZ saga. Ashton Richards came to the site, blew up, went BTR. It was fucked up. King Richard Forum, bitches. What do you know about that? But anyway, fuck you, Ash. You still owe me CDs from like 2006. Just want to get that out there. And I know he's going to see this video. Fuck you, Ash. I love you. But anyway, you know, I didn't really realize. And through the years, like, Sideswipe's one of, like, the guys that have always been there that that I still talk to. Another one is Boss. Guru, that sneaky motherfucker, he hops around every once in a while. Did you know Guru's a cop now? I've known this son of a bitch since he was like 16 years old. He would have told me that back then this goofy motherfucker would become a cop. I would have never believed you. Yeah, Guru is a cop, but I like to think he's one of the good ones. You know, he's not beating up black people. He's he's cavity searching hookers, probably. If that's what if I was a cop, that's what I do. I just go for the hookers and frisk them. Like, oh, you're clean. In a dirty way. Anyway. Man, how long has this been recording? Wow, 16 minutes. Son of a bitch. This is going to take a hell of a lot of time to upload to YouTube. But anyway, shit. Then there's the whole thing when I fell in love with a GameTZ user's former wife. Or, well, actually, they were going through the divorce process when I started talking to her. Yes, this is not a lie. I'm not making this up. I sold all my video games to buy a plane ticket and fly to Arizona to lose my virginity to a woman I had only talked to on the phone. Needless to say, the first 3 days were great. Then she broke up with me halfway through and I still had to sleep in the same bed with her? Awkward. Yeah, it sucked. We wound up having a really big fight after I got home, and I told her publicly on GameTZ to fuck herself with a razor tip dildo, and she told everybody publicly on GameTZ that I have a crooked dick. Which is true. It's not like, it's more like, red worm, you know, kind of that crooked. It bounces. You know, sometimes I go outside naked and I just use it as a way to figure out which way the wind is blowing. But anyway, can't do that right now. It's too cold outside. But yeah, that was a fucked up fiasco. But I'll tell you what, there is no better blowjob than your very first blowjob. I swear, I'm not going to mention her name or her ex-husband's name because that's all in the past. I don't want that crazy bitch to see this YouTube video and be like, you son of a bitch, I found you all after all these years to ruin your life all over again. Anyway, shit, forgot where I was going with that. I don't know. But, yeah, that shit kind of blew up. And then, actually, a lot of people don't know this, but there was one time I actually went BTR. Yes, I had about 15 or 20 bad trader reports. Because, at the time, I had come down with laryngitis due to all the cold weather because I was living out of my car at the time. Because my dad kicked me out and 2 days later he asked me to come back. My pride hit me and I was like, nope, I'm gone. I lived that way for about 3 months. No internet, and then I come back on GameTZ and I am the devil. I become the fucking pariah of GameTZ, rightfully so. People had a huge, legitimate reason to be pissed off with me. But what people don't ever talk about, nobody even talks about all those BTRs anymore, because that was like, I don't know, I want to say that was like 8 years ago or something. I'm not sure, but it was a real rough time in my life, and I never wanted to rip people off. That was never my intention. I just hit a rough spot. And I came back, and people were so pissed. And within a week or two, all the BTRs were gone. I made good on every fucking one of them, sent everybody the rightful stuff. and then people just let me go. And it's funny, there was another user, that long established user, that got a bunch of BTRs because it come to find out he was a duplicate account. And you know, it was really fucked up because this guy in chat, I talk to this guy all the time. I love this guy, still love him. He's a good guy. But he fucked up, and Bill fucking got a hold of me and said, look, dude, you are the poster boy of resolving BTRs. Will you talk to this guy and just encourage him to fucking take care of it all? And I did, and he did it. He straightened up. People kept giving him shit after the BTRs, though, and nobody really did that to me, and I don't know why. I don't know. It's weird. GameTZ has kind of a short attention span. Like, we only live up shit fucking for a while. Like, oh, one great thing. Anybody remember when Belladonna got a BTR from a guy, and come to find out when the guy sent Belladonna his package that the guy used toilet paper as packing material? Belladonna posted pictures. This guy literally, I don't even remember why the guy BTR'd Belladonna to begin with. None of us were believing it, because Belladonna, still not sure if that was a man or a woman, because he would never tell you. Or she would never tell you, I don't know. But it was fucked up, because back then, Belladonna was one most established trader. He traded with everybody. He was a good trader. I remember one time I got a fucking sweet big box of Sega CD games from him. I think I actually got Night Trap in that box. And I think there was Adventures of Willie Beamish, and I don't remember what else was in that box. But I know for a fact Willie Beamish was in there. Old school adventure Sega CD game. I like that. But yeah, and there's a lot of... We could go on all day about GameTZ users we miss. Like, the big ones I miss are Sport Better and Mog. Anybody... nobody has ever heard anything from Sport Better in probably a decade now or something. Like, you know, he completed all his trades, but he kind of just disappeared without a trace. And that guy was my favorite person to trade with. This guy was... It's like he was living in a dragon's lair. You know how you always see the dragon and the big piles of gold and jewels and all that shit laying around. That's how I imagine Sport Better's house looked like. Because this dude had so much cool shit. This guy traded me Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, TurboGrafx 16s. Man, I probably traded with him. I think I traded with him over 10 times within the span of like maybe 4 years. He just had so much cool shit. And Mog was the guy everybody loved to hate. That dude was such a fucking smart ass. Oh man, that feud he had with him. Man, those two feuded so much on GameTZ, Bill banned them both. I mean, yeah, I will admit, that shit kind of got out of hand. They fucked with each other nonstop. Yeah, they fucked each other nonstop. But there really is a lot of rivalries at GameTZ that have really got out of hand. Like my rivalry with Invisible Ink. This motherfucker was always cutting me down, always talking shit. And it wasn't just me, he did that shit to everybody. And one night I got drunk. I pulled out my digital camera, I put it on a timer, and I pulled out my pants, moved the camera, and flipped it off. And I sent him, I want to say, 10 private messages, all of just that picture. He reported me. I got restricted for like I think originally it was a week, but then the restriction was canceled early, and I got an email from the mods saying, Wheeler's a snitch, do what you want. So I called him out in general forum and made this guy look like such a bitch. He wound up leaving the site because of it. His fucking badassness was ruined because I just let him have it. It was like, you talk about all this fucking shit and you're just going to go and snitch on me? Like, the mods, I've never seen the mods ever do that for anybody before, during, or after that. I think that was a one-time, this guy's an asshole, get the job done, and I went with it and it worked. I really hated that guy and he finally left, so I guess I won that one. And I remember one time way before that, the first guy I traded with that really got pissed off at me was this guy that I traded him, I think it was Hang On Safari Fun for the Sega Master System, card only. And I had it listed in very good. And there's a few like airline scratches on the cart from pulling it in and out of the system. And this guy made a post in general fucking just talking about how I'm a horrible trader and shit. And the consensus was, please forgive a guy for playing his games. Now, if it was a disc game, or if you're a collector, this guy wasn't a collector. This guy was, I don't know, he's a little weird. All he did was get the cheap shit. I don't know, maybe it was reseller or something, but I don't know. But this guy was so pissed off, and everybody was like, dude, it's an old cart. It's going to have some wear. And, you know, I listed it as very good because it was in very good condition. Label was fucking nice, clean, crisp, shiny. You know, there's a few little, you know, pulling out scars. Thank God that don't happen when you're fucking. I don't want to pull out, the chick's got a vein, like, right there, you know. I don't know. Anyway, that's besides the point. That shit was stupid. And everybody knew it was stupid. That was bad, and you should feel bad. Anyway, let's see, what have I not talked about yet about GameTZ? I guess, I don't know, I want to say, at the current state, we need some new blood around here. And, you know, we've got some good new users. Like, my favorite, he's not completely new now. I think he's up to, what, like a silver or gold by now. But Dashy10. This dude's a young dude, but this dude is cool, and he's a good-ass trader. I've only known Dashy for, like, a few months or something, but I've traded with this guy, like, 4 times already. And we're waiting on doing another trade, and Dashy, I don't know, I guess he kind of reminds me of myself a little bit. He loves trading, he loves, you know, the GameTZ, he's always in the chat, he forums, and, you know, I think Dashy10's a cool dude. You know what, from this point on, Dashy10 is a made fucking man. Anybody that fucks with Dashy10 fucks with the Tadster. I'll fuck you up. And getting back to rivalries, not all rivalries are bad because me and my boy Hammer, we kind of hate each other so much we like